Hey, it's Ruth and welcome to Pocket of Inspiration, where we create better versions of ourselves. In this episode, I'm excited about our guests. And we will be talking about leadership. Leadership is something that we all admire as a society, and we should all aspire to be leaders. So today's guest will be talking about leadership. Mr. Brian O'Toole is the director of Nations University Guyana and the author of Educational Leadership, a Guyanese Perspective. He's well known for his commitment to leadership and social transformation through education.
Thanks,
you
Ruth.
for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Dr. O'Toole, you guys don't understand. I've known this man for years. I was actually a student. We're actually here at Nations, School of the Nations. And I decided, you know what, where should I go? It was the best place to have this interview. Why not come back to my old school?
Quite right.
I've been here since Form 1,
Wow.
straight through to Form 6, and it's been amazing. The school has made a profound impact in my life because when I came here, I was so shy. I could not talk to nobody. Anybody asked me a question, but this school has really transformed me, and it played such a critical role in my development. And I'm sure you got this from a lot of people who come back here, a lot of students, they tell you the difference the school has made. And we're going to talk more about that because we're talking about leadership.
Sure.
And this is an amazing book that you wrote. I thought it was really informative and entertaining at the same time. I found some really funny, interesting stuff that was in here. So tell me about this book.
Great. Well, thanks for the opportunity, Ruth. Actually, it was Professor McConkey, who's come to Guyana maybe 15 to 20 times to help us on a whole variety of different projects. He suggested that there was a book to write. It never occurred to me at all. And then over a year, in collaboration with some of the major players in these different projects, like Dr. Aydun, Pat Cameron, Lorraine Pierre, Roshni Tekchandra, Lomaharshna Lal, Dexter Phillips, Taz Stewart. So we consulted with a number of other people who helped to achieve these goals, and together came up with a book that explored the different initiatives in health, education, child labor, disability, but tried to really explore what are the challenges in those fields, and not just say we did this and we did that and we're excellent at everything. It was much more to explore the challenges in the area of development and to see really what directions do we need to move in.
Okay, so there's a wealth of knowledge in here, a lot of wisdom, a lot of heads that came together to make this a reality.
Yeah.
So it's about educational leadership.
Yeah.
So what is your definition of a true leader?
Yeah, I think that's at the heart of the book and the heart of really what we need to look at, because as we all know, I mean, it's almost become a cliche now, Guyana is at a crossroads. We came in 1978 in a very different Guyana, when Guyana was maybe the poorest country in the Americas, except for Haiti. So now, one of the biggest oil finds in the world. But if we don't have the leadership, then all these discoverers will pass us by. A few people will get very, very rich, and the majority of people will get more disillusioned. So to me, leadership is to look and see what can be done to take, whether it's a school or a company, in a direction that's going to be of maximum benefit to the majority of people, instead of just becoming richer yourself.
Yes.
So we really feel that this whole topic of leadership, whether it's in education or business or the arts, is crucial at this particular junction in Guyana's history.
Great. So a lot of people aspire to be leaders, but from your experience, you see there's a lot that goes into it. And could you be sure us what are some of the sacrifices and the dedication to expect in the field of leadership?
Yeah.
Because some people feel like they look at leaders up there and it's like it's easy, but when you really get to the nitty-gritty and you understand, like, you know what, there's a lot of stuff that I have to do as a person to enable myself to be a leader and have to prepare for it. So what are some sacrifices and dedication that you will have to expect in leadership?
Well, I think that's really at the heart of the book, is to look at how did we develop a model of leadership in education, in health, in child labor. I mean, this documents 40 years of experience in development with Nations University Research Institute, with Varka Foundation, with the Baha'i Community Health Partnership. And it tries to move beyond an individual charismatic model of leadership to one much more of distributed leadership, where the main task is to attract a team of people, not necessarily all of whom think in the same way, but at least are working towards a collective ideal. And I think that's what we've really worked towards at Nations. We're now in our 21st year, and I think now we've been able to attract a group of extremely committed people to Nations. And it was interesting in the work that I've done. I'm teaching on the MBA course. I remember reading that Walt Disney deliberately selected people with views that were contrary to his, because he didn't want to surround himself with yes men. And I think to a degree we've tried to do that here at Nations as well, is to attract people who have very clear ideas themselves, but are willing to throw those ideas into the pool, and then out of even a clash of different ideas, we come up with a direction that we should move in. But I think at the heart of it is moving away from one charismatic leader who rules the roost, and then when he passes on, everything crumbles.
Yeah, so you said in your book that one of the things you want to do is to really outline some new development that you see as critical in Guyana. So what is your hopes?
Yeah, well, I suppose, I mean, again, the book reflects on 40 years of experience in the development field.
Yeah.
It talks about, at the heart of our efforts were spiritual goals. And I think without that fundamental belief in the Baha'i faith, I think we would have given up a long time before the 40 years was up, because the obstacles are significant. You're dealing with people at an administrative level who perhaps aren't very committed, who are almost cynical about your level of determination compared to their own. So I think that for us, at the heart of all these projects was the belief that there was some higher goal, and that when we look at the critique in education, the idea is that unless we can introduce spiritual values and a soul in education, then we have no future, because if it stays at a purely materialistic level, it's of no value at all.
Great. So what support system is needed when you're trying to empower yourself as a leader, because you cannot do it on your own? You mentioned in the book that there were so many persons that were critical to making what we see now as Nations, University and School of the Nation. There are a lot of persons that were critical to development. So as a leader, what system, who should you really surround yourself with to really help you and empower you? Because like for instance, a team is important, your family, and all of that.
Well, I think all of that. I think, I mean, it's difficult to talk about these things without boosting up your own ego, but I suppose at the heart of it is if you don't have family support, it can't work. I'll give you an example of that, when the government imposed the 14% VAT on private education,
I remember that.
Nation Sixth Form was actually in the forefront in radio, television, petitions. We got a petition with 15,000 people. At the height of that, Nations was absolutely in the forefront. And one of my sons several times told me, look, get out of this, you're going to make enemies. And to her credit, my wife, even though she believed that that might be the case, she also felt this was too important an issue. And even if we did create some enemies in the highest places, maybe that would be blanketed out by the determination we had to fight for something that we believe was wrong. And now, after almost a year, the government did change their minds, but not before 100 people dropped out. So I think it's that family support is absolutely crucial. And then the challenge is to attract a group of people who have the same long-term vision as you have. And just recently we were fortunate on a trip to New York to re-encounter Dr. Dexter Phillips, who used to be our deputy head almost 20 years ago. He went to China, the Philippines, had a very successful career, wanted to come back to Guyana, and now he's back as our CEO. So I think it's making those very strategic alliances of people with real capacity, and then allowing them to believe that they will be able to play a crucial role, and that they won't be second-guessed on every idea that they bring up.
Yeah, they'll to contribute to something meaningful. So before our last questions, your wife like School of the Nation, because as I said before, there's so many different things that it did for me, especially in the line of my confidence and everything, because the system, I saw this when I look back at the system was very well structured, and you guys to me had a purpose and a vision for it, because there were a lot of initiatives that were in place that really propelled persons to be the best that they can be. For instance, I was like a senior prefect and all of that. I had different leadership roles. I was put into competitions. We would travel. The infrastructure, everything really molded us to be best, to be leaders.
That's great.
Right? So, and I think it's probably an initiative like, as a leader, you want to nurture leaders also in society. So that's probably a something that you could really tell to other leaders who are aspiring, that while you're trying to develop yourself, try to develop others to be leaders.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Well, I think one of the crucial things here at Nations, Ruth, and as you pointed out, is that the service project in the sixth form is given the highest priority.
Yes, I was volunteering in a
Very good.
special need, and that really changed my perspective on the persons in that with those disabilities.
Yeah. So one area of service is children with disabilities.
Yeah.
But another area is we have had 100 students from Tiger Bay come in here three times a week
I was there.
for the last 6 years.
Yes.
We've just finished a program with USAID in Sophia and East the Penitents. We're working with IHI in Boston to do a major project. So, and we're in the process of bringing students from Afghanistan and Gambia here on scholarships, and the sixth formers are the ones who are working to raise the money to bring them. So it's a very exciting field, and I think the most capable students that come here realize we're not looking for 2 A's and a B. If they get that, that's great, but we're looking for the real full development of their potential.
Yes. So from your past experiences, what have you found to be most true about family, life, and leadership?
I think to thine own self be true, to hold very clear values, and to work towards them even when they might not be very fashionable or might not be very palatable to others. But I think now is the time of the harvest for nations. We had a wonderful lady here, Rebecca Murphy from Ethiopia. She came many times to visit us. And when things were particularly difficult here a few years ago, she turned around to us and says, the time of the harvest is yet to come.
Yes, that's in the last page.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly who it is. So she's looking over her shoulder and she's in the next world now, but hopefully she's looking back and seeing...
Was she a teacher here?
No, she came against some lecturers, but no, she was very active in the Baha'i faith, so she came here to give us advice, and so that was the predictions she had, and we feel that that's the case now. So we're very excited.
Great. So what do you think is the single most important core value for creating the best version of yourself?
I suppose it's to have that core set of values about why we're in this world, and to realize that our purpose in being in this world is to be of service. And that's the greatest joy that you can have.
Yes. So a lot of people wonder what is their purpose, and all of our purpose is to serve, but it's our purpose also to really find in what capacity are we going to serve in.
Yeah, exactly. And
right?
I mean, we recently had an award here for one of the students who gave some significant field of service in the sixth form. The one who won it this year was Othniel Lewis, and what he turned around to us and said was that Nations gave him so many different fields of service to bring out qualities that maybe he didn't even realize that he had.
I could attest to that too. That's so true. So for those who would like to receive this amazing book and get in contact with you, where can they find you and where can they find the book?
Well, my email is very easy. It's O'Toole, OTOOLE, .nations, NATIONS, @gmail.com. The book is available at Austin's. It's also on Amazon.
Right.
But if people have problems getting it, then they could please, or phone School of Nations, and we'll be more than happy to mail a copy.
Great. So I must thank you once again.
Thank you.
Great.
Great. Thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
Yes. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, please share this video with someone who will find it helpful. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So remember, this was Pocket of Inspiration. Stay true to yourself and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye, thanks.